itself, we bring in the fire. Buffing onions, taking it higher. Hot takes dropping, views on the rise. LIV Golf Pod, cutting through the lies.
Guys, welcome back to the League Itself podcast. I'm LIV Golf Buff along with LIV'R and Onions. It is episode 81 of the League Itself. We're going to review the Open Championship as well as preview LIV Golf UK. LIV'R, I know it's been a little bit of a hiatus for me. What did you miss most about me since I've been gone? That?
Yeah, that's literally the only thing I've missed.
Have you been clapping?
No.
I've been listening. I just don't remember. Oh,
No,
you just cold start?
That's your thing. That's not my thing.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
No, cold
Well,
start.
I just want to say with the brief hiatus, I just need to take a little time away. I know a lot of people have been asking. This last couple months for me has been kind of weird, just with my online persona. Obviously with the stuff with LIV going down, it's been quite different than anything I've experienced. So just needed to take a little step back, just because there wasn't any events to talk about. But now we're back for the rest of the season, and who knows from beyond there. But going forward, like I said, we're going to review the Open. We're going to talk about UK. Before we do that, please subscribe to our channels. Subscribe on YouTube at the League Itself podcast. I will be live streaming this week, not for the entire event, but I will be live streaming for most of it. So please subscribe if you're not. Follow us both on X, LIV Golf Buff, LIV'R and Onions. Same with TikTok. And follow the League Itself on Facebook as well. We continue to grow even while I'm away on that account. So I appreciate all the support that we've gotten from that. And if we're not on your podcast platform, let us know and we'll put ourselves there. So the Open Championship, Ryan Fox wins in an epic Open Championship. From the LIV Golf side, Lucas Herbert led the LIV golfers in placement, finishing T6. Bryson DeChambeau took over a lot of storylines this weekend with how he played. And overall, it was a decent showing from the LIV contingent. Where would you like to start? We can start with Herbert. We can start with Bryson. Any which way you want to go.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I did a preview show last week, and I put my over/under on LIV making the cut 8.5, 9.5, and we ended up with 9. So I felt really good about the 9 guys that made the cut and where we were headed after 2 rounds. I felt really good up until that point, as I think all LIV fans should have. And then things changed. The world got wacky. So basically, I think talk about from the cut line on. I don't know that anything prior to round 1 or 2, not a lot there. I mean, we had some guys that just played really solid golf to start with. We got to go back a little bit. I mean, Lucas Herbert, let's start there, huh?
Okay.
Round 2, 62. When Lucas Herbert went to the clubhouse with a 62 after round 2, that was just the 6th, was it? 62 all time. Fifth 62 all time in major championship history. And then Sam Burns hit the clubhouse with a 62 later the same day. And then we had another 62. So
I think it may have been the 6th. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, I couldn't remember, 5th or 6th. And then Brandon Grace, also Royal Birkdale, one of those 62s back in 2017. So I think along that line, talking about Lucas Herbert and the 62, we kind of got to talk about the course and the tournament as well. I think it's a bad look for Royal Birkdale. In the history, the annals of history, people are going to look back and say there's 8 62s in major championship history, and 4 of them are at the same golf course, and that's not a golf course that hosts a tournament every year. So I don't think that's something that you want to be known for Royal Birkdale. And in that same thing, I wasn't impressed with the course. I wasn't impressed with the setup. I know the tournament had a lot of fire, and we're going to remember this tournament for a lot of different things and for a lot of different reasons, but the course is not one of them. And I think that's unfortunate.
Yeah. For me, like, with the only qualm I have just with the amount of 62s there was this weekend, it's not like everyone was firing low scores, 63s, 64s, those weren't as easy to come by. But it was just the case of people going nuclear, and it's hard to stop that. I think with the lack of wind during those morning waves, which is obviously a common practice on that side of the world, it's hard to have a defense of it. I know that Birkdale, like, obviously baking out the course, like they certainly planned for this kind of, they wanted to prevent this kind of setup. And even during the third round, like Xander Schauffele talked about how tough those pins were, and the fact that we still had a 62 with that from Fox, made it all the more interesting with that. But at the same time, like Lucas Herbert, Ryan Fox, before the weekend, I'm not sure if anyone's calling them a tier 1 player, and I say that as like a top 50 player. And the fact that those were the ones that were getting the 62s. Sam Burns, I think, is a bona fide top 30 player in the world. But with Herbert and Fox, it's like, those are the guys that are getting it. So I think that's more my issue. It was just more random than I think a major would like. But obviously Fox won in the end, so he was a deserving champion, of course. But for me, Birkdale didn't live up to the hype within that. But I thought overall, obviously it holds a shit ton of people. It's the largest attended Open ever. There was a lot of good with that bad included into there. So it's not like Birkdale gets an F. But instead of the A that we would all hope for, it probably got a B- on my end.
The largest attended ever. Like, I get, it's tickets sold, whatever. But when you watch Ryan Fox sink his winning putt on 18, and you look around at the build out in the gallery, it doesn't feel like it's the largest attended Open ever. Like that there was 300,000 people that came through the gates. Like, to me, that just didn't it didn't have the gallery juice from something that has that much attendance. So I'm not.
Are you saying at the end or throughout the tournament?
At the end,
oh yeah, okay.
It feels like another major. It doesn't feel like something that had 300,000 people attend it, which is obviously a massive number for a golf tournament.
Yeah, well, the World Cup, a lot of Spanish contingent. I heard Bias there, and Ron brought their entire every person they've ever met. They brought them to England to the tournament so that they could go watch it at a pub after. That's what I heard.
I'm sure they had a good time.
Yeah, I'm sure they did too. But I the venue overall. We get it once every 8, 9, 10 years, however the rotation works. So it's not like I'm not nuke it to the sun, but I'm I'm okay if we don't see it again.
Thank goodness we don't come back here more often.
Yeah, if it's not on a St. Andrews type rotation,
right?
But it is what it is. Overall, I don't want to. Obviously, the course didn't live up to our standards, but it was still a really compelling event overall. There was tricks at every turn, and guys, the guys that played the best ended up winning. So it's not like it was totally unfair, but it was just that one obvious blemish to what really could have made the major stand out even more.
From a LIV perspective, which guy, I guess maybe Lucas Herbert's your answer, which guy surprised you the most, good or bad?
Oh, it was clearly Bryson. Obviously Lucas Herbert, played phenomenal. And I think he got a lot of brownie points from the golf community as a whole this weekend. But Bryson, for me, I thought I completely dead. I thought heading into the weekend, the lack of confidence was there. And maybe it helped. If Birkdale was wet and him hitting into the rough so much, those would have created more difficult lies. Maybe it would have been a lot more of a difficult week for him. But heading into the week, I thought it was going to be a true links test, and that's just not something that he's been overly capable of producing well before. But him playing as well as he did this weekend was easily my biggest surprise. I put a flyer on him to get top 20 because the number was too juicy, but I didn't think he was going to make the cut.
Wow. As the biggest Bryson fan I know, that shocks me because it's not like last year at the Open. If you took the final 3 rounds and then the first round this year, you couldn't say Bryson doesn't know how to play a links course.
Yeah, but I think Portrush is Fugazi. It's kind of similar to Birkdale now, but I don't know if I I think Birkdale has traits to where if the weather holds up, then it's like a real test. But
I had parlays on different things with Bryson making the cut because like I was 100% sure there was no chance that Bryson missed the cut here.
well, it became that like the strategy was like just hit drivers. Doesn't matter if you hit fairways. And I thought heading into the week it was like you got to hit fairways.
Yeah,
That's what Sir Nick said. So
right.
But
Well, it's why I didn't think Peter Uihlein was going to make the cut, and then it turned out that he did because that style of play wasn't as risky as we thought it was going to be.
yeah, and Tina Uihlein called you out for it.
She did. Yep. What's up, Tina? Thanks for keeping me honest. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy Pete made the cut. But when we look at this, we know there's 15 guys in the tournament. A handful of them are going to miss the cut. Props to Pete for making it. So
yeah. Well, while we're talking about Peter Uihlein, beard in the first couple rounds, gone to mustache. That's crazy. Like he had his mustache was like 2 times what yours was in terms of like fullness.
Yeah.
And then he had a sick mustache at the end.
Yeah.
That's the stuff we live for.
To bring the tools with to even do that. That's some planning. That's the plan going there.
Yeah, you're not bringing a big. Unless he's packing for this and JCB. So you would think he's going to shave at some point.
That's true.
But I kind of like the beard on him. If he goes like a lighter beard, I think that's a better look, personally.
We talked a couple of episodes back when you were on about Peter Uihlein and how well his season started, and then it kind of sputtered out. But now you look at gets through the qualifier, plays the U.S. Open, makes the cut. Gets through the qualifier, plays the Open, makes the cut. Peter Uihlein's playing some really good golf right now. And okay, the finishes when he makes the cut haven't been spectacular, but he's showing some consistency again.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't know what we should expect from Peter Uihlein on a tournament by tournament basis, but if he's 19th in the standings like he is right now,
yep.
You kind of take that and run at the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah.
So
from his own perspective, I think he would want to be higher, but from the range goats perspective, he's just been a solid point getter for him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's 3 and T3. Those are the big finishes he's had. The next best finish he's had is 30th. So you look at it's like he had a couple really hot tournaments, but the way he's playing right now, if he can keep that up, maybe something goes well and we're able to get a strong finish heading into the end of the season. So who knows? But yeah, shout out to Peter Uihlein. I'm happy we talked about him.
Most surprising, I think we have to talk about Joaquin Niemann. Most surprising.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't see Waco missing the cut here. He just day one was too much, 6 over day one. And yes, he's capable of going 6 under day 2 or 5 under day 2 and making the cut. He ends up going 2 under. I mean, nobody's more disappointed than Waco. He's got a standard for himself that he wants to hold himself to. And yes, we're all disappointed, but he's not walking away going, oh, well, I gave him this really bothers him. He wants to be in these. He wants to compete. He knows he can. And when it doesn't work, he's very bothered by it.
Yeah. And it's tough because next year, what does his major future look like? Is he in any so far?
Yes, I believe he is, right?
What would it be? I don't know. I would have came more prepared for this, but Waco cares about the majors. He made that very clear in 24 when he was winning all those tournaments, in 25 when they still didn't have points. Obviously now they have points, but who knows what it looks like next year. Assuming that LIV doesn't exist in 2 months, next year he's just going to be he's just going to take the Patrick Reed route, as a best case, assuming LIV doesn't exist. So
I think his T7 at the U.S. Open gets him back in there.
Okay.
Because I think
top 10?
Come back, yeah.
Okay.
He needed top 4 to get into the Masters. And that obviously missed that. But also he's going to play a ton of fall events. His OWGR, depending on how he finishes out the LIV season, is going to be just fine. He'll be pushing that.
Where's he
top
at right
50.
now?
OWGR 51.
Okay.
So he'll be pushing that top 50 at the end of the season to get in the Masters, and
Yeah,
he's actually in better shape now than he was a year ago.
that is true.
He just won't have the chance at the exemptions.
Given to by the majors.
Correct.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. For him, it's just it's just making his life a little more difficult. I bet he'd love to have more of an off season at some point, to where he didn't have to play, a few of these DP World Tour events. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to Australia. Maybe he plays international series. Who knows what that even looks like? But his schedule is going to be a little more full than I bet he would want it to be.
Yeah.
But that's it's kind of what you sign up for if you don't get it done in the majors. So, but yeah, disappointing. That was just more sad than anything.
Any other guys? Obviously, there's some other things we want to talk about with the Open, but any other guys specifically? Victor Perez, shout out to Victor Perez, having a really good run of golf here the last 3-4 weeks.
He is playing well.
The links course last week, playing that, getting him set up for this week. He was 4 under at one point today, ends up 2 under on the tournament. So he really, scared a top 15 and then just let a couple slide at the end. Thomas Dietrich was our other guy that finished under par. Good for him. He never really thought he was going to make it into this tournament. And he ends up there via the reserve list and makes it at least a pretty good effort. So, and then Bias there, I think we talk about Bias there a little bit, because some moments of golf for him to make the cut the way he did, put Bias there kind of in the spotlight for a second. And then what did he have? Was it third round? He went 4 under. So
yeah, 66,
some really good
round.
Stretches there for Jose Le.
And also paired with Scotty today.
Got to play with Scotty.
So Pooch played with Scotty at the PGA. Bias there played with Scotty at the Open. Yeah, you got to think. And Sergio is an Austin guy. Who is Scotty Scheffler's favorite fireball? He's got a relationship with those three.
Well, I would say his favorite fireball is Luis Massavello. When he plays with Puig and he plays with Bias there, he doesn't win.
Interesting. Okay.
So
but he doesn't even know Massavello.
That's why he's his favorite, because he hasn't prevented him from winning yet.
Interesting. That's a funny question to ask him. Yeah, but good for Bias there. Obviously making the cut.
In grand fashion, that was.
Yeah, it takes balls to go eagle birdie to get that, especially on that 18th hole, how difficult that was playing.
Right.
But yeah, good for him. Cam Smith, gotta say, changing the putter out. I saw that and my mouth was agape. And I think the collective Blade contingent of Blade fans on Twitter, they really had to put their guns down and really admit defeat, because if Cam Smith's not hitting a Blade, Brooks Koepka is hardly using a Blade now. There's not many more reliable Blade guys out there. So it was a tough one for any Blade putter fan this week.
Yeah, interesting switch. Obviously, he's working with Claude Harmon now. I don't know that Claude gets too involved in putting, so I'm not sure where the putter switch came from.
I don't know.
Seems like that's the one part of his game he would never touch, but golfers do weird things. Joaquin Niemann was on top of the world and changed up a whole bunch of stuff. So who knows?
Well, it's not like Cam Smith's having I don't know what. Can you pull up Data Golf? What I wonder what Cam Smith's putting on this is on LIV this year. This is something I normally have pulled up. So
this is bad podcasting.
Yeah, I know. Well, it's been a while since I've been on here. So I got to figure out what are my tabs need, or the tabs I need. And this is the one I'm missing. So he's third in LIV on putting this year.
Yeah.
So obviously
normal.
He's not having a bad year.
Change something then.
No. I thought if you want to make a change, he's probably closer to the bottom of the top 10. Also, if you look at Data Golf, Travis Smythe is Trav Smythe. Honestly, that's kind of a sick name. Something to think about. But yeah, no, weird change for sure. And just, obviously we didn't lead with this. We didn't even come close to leading it, but we got John Rahm. I got to say the 2 doubles on one, I belly laughter from me both times. I couldn't believe it. It was just literally like, and especially today, hitting a driver off that again. Like you would think that he hit an iron off the tee on his provisional on Saturday in the fairway. And then just to kind of go back to that was really bizarre. But that's Jon Rahm. No showing again another major for LIV. That makes it 3 out of the 11 or whatever, where he was never really even sniffed contention. So,
well, because I think you have an irrational hate for Jon Rahm, and it always comes out real quickly when Bryson isn't living up to your standards. That's usually your go-to. I will say Jon Rahm had a worse major year in 2022 than he did this year, and then he won the Masters in 2023. So,
well,
I think for the people saying like this is a LIV problem, this is Jon Rahm is done. Like this year was not as bad in the majors as 2022, and Jon Rahm was far from done. So let's just hold the horses a little bit here because it's still golf.
No, it's certainly golf. We'll see. I mean, who knows if he wins? If next year if he wins and LIV Golf doesn't exist, obviously then Trey Wingo will just blame it on that. Like, hey, it was just LIV that was holding him back. So honestly, if LIV doesn't exist, you better hope he doesn't win a major next year. Like have a similar major year, like let's say this year, because then everyone will just blame it on LIV Golf in perpetuity.
No,
right?
No. If he wins the Masters, it doesn't really matter because his lead up to the Masters wouldn't have been any different whether LIV existed or not.
What do you mean?
He would have played 2 tournaments prior to the Masters anyway,
regardless of which tournaments they would have had cuts, dude.
Oh yeah, cuts.
And who knows? I mean, Ron would be on.
This was a really bad week for the people that said that LIV had to go to 72 holes for major prep.
This is a real bad year for them.
Well, but specifically this week because at the cut point, LIV was doing really well, and it wasn't the 3rd round that doomed them or the 4th round that doomed them. It was both.
Yeah, you could say. I mean, you could say about the entire year.
It had no difference. Like as we've seen this entire year, the whole an extra round thing, it was garbage, and we always knew that.
Totally,
54 holes was not any 1 ounce of change in major performance for LIV guys. And now somebody's going to comment, yeah, but they only, whatever cuts and there's no way you can say that going to 72 holes prepared these guys better. We have no evidence of that.
No evidence at all.
We have major winners when we were 54 holes. We don't have major winners when we're 72. So
yeah. And thank you for bringing that up. That's not a point that I thought of heading into this, but yeah, I mean, the people that called us specifically, because you and I were on this the whole time. We wanted 54 holes. We knew major prep was a bullshit excuse. We were right. And for that, we deserve a pat on the back. We deserve a you were right. We deserve this is why you guys are still the only LIV Golf podcast that still consistently posts anything. I don't see those 54 golf freaks posting anything. GLU doesn't post a fucking thing anymore. No one's relevant. And we're not going to be relevant soon either. But you really still care about this. I still care about it through the end of the season. That's why we're the best LIV Golf podcast. So thank you for bringing that up.
All right. The only story left from the Open that we haven't touched is Bryson DeChambeau. You want to get us started?
Well, we touched on him, but we didn't touch on the penalty.
Right.
I will say, I don't think you and I are going to agree on this.
Of course not.
What do you mean? You don't even know what I'm going to say.
I do know what you're going to say.
Oh, really? Okay.
100%.
Well, I don't think you do.
Yeah, you're going to say it doesn't matter that LIV Golf is on his apparel, that the penalty got handed to him. And I'm going to call BS on that.
Oh, well, that's not what I was going to say at all, actually.
But it is what you believe, and it's wrong. So,
well, hang on. I was just going to say, I think after getting a level head, I think in the end that is a penalty. My problem with it is that the spirit of the rule, I wish it was either brought up to him in the moment or I wish it was brought up to him in the moment. I think the fact that it was an alleged social media induced penalty, I think is BS. And I will say also, I do think that if the RNA is going to draw the line here, I do think that they're going to draw it with someone that has an akin featured group coverage no matter who it is, whether it's Scotty, Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Rory McIlroy. I really don't care what you can name any tour pro. I do think that's a penalty no matter what. I don't agree with the ruling and how it was placed, but I do think it was a penalty. And obviously it wasn't the response we wanted from it. Obviously captivated the golf world, but I do think that if the R&A is going to draw the line, they're going to draw that line with everybody, not just Bryson. And I know, like, even people on the, like, I saw Joseph Lamagna say he doesn't think that would be a penalty if that was on those guys. I do. But
so here's my issue. Anyone that says that's a penalty, you're already wrong, because we have no proof. There's one, maybe two people in this world that know whether a penalty was committed or not, and that's Bryson and Jibo. That's it. Because we have no camera angle that says I can see that a penalty was committed. You can stomp grass down. It's where you stomp the grass down that makes a penalty. So for anyone that says that's clearly a penalty, no, it's not. There's no clear about it. For anyone that says, well, he obviously broke the rules, show me the obvious. There is no evidence. There's no proof. There's nothing. One person, and that's Bryson, and maybe Jibo, were there and saw it. So you're wrong. You can't say that was a penalty. I'm open to people saying that situation could result in a penalty. 100%. Yes, it could. If we knew where he stepped, and we don't have to know the intention, right? Because the rule says it could be intentional or unintentional. But we have to know where he stepped in relation to the ball and his swing path. Did he step where his stance was going to be taken? Not a penalty, but we don't know that. So you can't say it was a penalty or it is a penalty or it was called correctly or it was like, no, you can't. You could say that situation could result in a penalty. Yes, it could. Now, like you, I agree that the whole handling of it was terrible. Knowing what we know now, Bryson maybe should have just said, no, I don't need to go back out there. Like,
I don't agree with that at all.
They strolled him out to make a silly example out of him, knowing what was going to happen. The rule would not get applied equally to anyone else, regardless of what camera is there or what's not. Like, we had an entire 7-day media blitz anti-Bryson. The narrative was there that Bryson's this bad guy coming into like Faldo, Amon, Brandel, like everything was there anti-Bryson, anti-Bryson, anti-Bryson. This wouldn't even been called on Bryson if he was T46 at the moment. Like, no one's posting that, tagging Bryson if Bryson's not a factor in the tournament. Now, why Bryson? Is it because there's crushers and LIV on his jersey? You may disagree. I say yes. If Bryson's a member of the PGA Tour, we don't have the whole negative media onslaught the entire week leading up to this, trying to make him into this monster that he's not. And you know that he's not that monster, but you deny that they're trying to make him into that, even though it's right in front of you.
No, well, it's not that I deny it. You know, it's, I don't like,
yes, you
there's
do.
a
You
big,
deny that it exists.
There's
you,
a big,
you deny
there's a
that
big
it's going
difference.
on.
There's a big difference to me, like saying that like it's the corrupt golf media exists and like me saying I disagree with what they say. I disagree with what they say most of the time, obviously.
Okay, and you don't think there's an agenda behind that?
I don't. At this point, why the fuck would there be? In 2026?
Because they're so scared that the golf world likes Bryson more than the establishment.
No, dude, the RNA
It's
is
so clear. It's so clear. They are
No.
so scared of Bryson having more control in the golf world than the old fogies that make up the RNA and the USGA and the PGA. Like, those guys cannot stand the thought of Bryson running the golf world. And Bryson's
I
running
don't
the golf
agree with
world
that at
right now.
all.
Bryson is running the golf world right now.
Don't
Anybody under the age of 30 cares more about Bryson than they do the establishment, RNA and USGA and what those things stand for.
No, and the RNA
It
before
scares
the week,
them to death.
The RNA before the week talked about how fractured the governing bodies are between the USGA and the PGA Tour. I don't think if it. I'll be honest. If it's a LIV golf event, you have Brad Ullman strolling up there, who's has absolutely no fucking spine at all. He's not going to give a penalty. He's like, oh yeah, don't worry about it. You know. But I respect the RNA enough to know that they're one of the stewards of the game, and I don't think, and I should have the benefit of the doubt that they're going to give that penalty to everybody and protect the field equally.
But they did the opposite of that.
But I don't agree with that.
Because 99% of the players who made any comment about it disagreed with the penalty.
They disagree with a lot of different things. They made a lot of blanket statements. Like, obviously, the players don't want to get fucked over in the future, so of course they're just going to be like, oh yeah, I don't know, it's a tough decision. Maybe I agree with it. Some parts I do, some parts I don't. It's not like everyone gave like factual evidence. Like, no, I think this is the reason why I don't think it's a penalty. It was all like, this is a really gray area.
There's no evidence of it. There's no
other than Rory. Other than Rory, who's saying, oh yeah, it was obviously a penalty. I don't know if it was intentional or not. I hope it wasn't. But like everyone else is like, yeah, like Bryson would never do something out of pocket like that intentionally. I
want to say, and there's no camera angle that legitimately proves that the rule is broken.
Listen, I'm not a part of the rules of golf. I don't pretend to know everything about the rules. I know that there's a rule there, and if the R&A says it's broken, I'm going to agree with it. Unless there's something tangible which I shouldn't. Because I think that it's not indisputable evidence that like, oh yeah, it's pretty obvious. But I don't think it's indisputable that he didn't do it either.
Right. And the history of golf says what? That you apply the rule if you're not sure? No, it's always, by example, through the years, it's always been, if there's not definitive evidence, then we don't apply the penalty until suddenly this one event.
Sorry, there's a motorcycle passing. We'd have to go back and check every single rules infraction ever.
And then you can expand upon it that if it's not a LIV thing or it's not a targeted thing, why did Joaquin Niemann not get the warning that the other guys got for throwing a club?
John Rahm got a warning
after the fact. We had this rule for the majors this year. Nobody had been warned. The first guy to have done it should have been warned, not penalized, because they laid out the rules that there would be a warning before a penalty.
Yeah, but the R&A and the USGA do things different ways.
But they agreed on this set of rules for major tournaments.
It's their tournaments.
Yeah, well,
it's not like the four majors have like the same rules. The R&A and USGA do things their own ways. And the PGA Tour and LIV Golf, they do their things their own way. I mean, like LIV Golf's the only one that really enforces a pace of play, or at least used to. There hasn't been any issues this year. The R&A obviously enforced this rule, whether we like it or not. I don't. They choose to go about it a certain way. Rahm threw a club. McIntyre stomped a club. They gave him warnings. The USGA, Waco apparently hurled a club, and they gave him a penalty.
No video evidence either.
Well, they're just going off of the word of the volunteers. Obviously, There's no video evidence, but like I don't think that volunteer sees
that makes two events in majors this year where we don't have definitive proof, and the two guys that get penalized are both LIV guys.
Yeah, but at the same time, at least Waco accepted the penalty. It took Bryson a minute, but he finally accepted the penalty.
Did he?
And decided to play on. Yeah, he said he didn't agree with it, but he's playing on.
Yeah, so that's not showing up to play doesn't mean you accept it.
Clearly it does, because if he didn't accept it, he would have withdrew.
No, he wasn't.
Or he would have signed a bad card.
I think he tried to appeal it, and they wouldn't give him his card. So
I don't even know how that works.
I don't know if there's an appeal process, but I'm not like everybody else on X that believes everything that gets posted, because there's people out there trying to fool you. But if there is an appeals process in place, and the rule did say that we were no longer taking social media or fan submitted rule violations, and they broke that, then he should be allowed to appeal it.
Listen, like I said, I'm not going to pretend to be the
There's
expert.
too much stink to say it's on the up and up.
It's not like I'm saying it's. What do you mean the up and up?
Like this was all just like kosher and like, oh yeah, they would have done the exact same thing no matter who it was.
They gave
what
Shane
position
Lowry
in the tournament they were in.
Last year.
It's what?
They gave Shane Lowry a bad penalty last year for allegedly moving his ball.
When his ball moved?
Did it look like his ball moved?
I don't know. Did he self-report it, or how did it come in?
I don't know.
I don't.
I just remember that they
circumstances of
penalized
it.
him. I thought it was through like the TV broadcast.
Maybe.
I'm just saying, like, I think that as someone who respects the game enough, I should just I have to give them the benefit of the doubt. Like they thought that was a rule that was broken. I have to agree with that.
That's
like
fine.
That,
That's in contradiction to the LIV Golf Buff that existed for the last 3 years up until about 6 weeks ago.
well,
Because the RNA did everything to screw LIV golfers, basically in the existence of LIV, keep them out of majors, keep them away from OWGR points. But now they're being treated fairly because you've changed your mind on LIV golf.
I never said it was fair. I didn't like the spirit of how the rule was called. And at the same time, like, dude, PIF pulled their money. What am I supposed to believe anymore? I thought they cared about growing the game. They don't. Like, nothing I believe is true anymore.
Yeah,
God, I'd love to talk to 2023 me. I would tell him all these
I would actually like to go back and talk to 2023 you.
God, man, I was a fucking menace back in
You
the
were
day.
so much cooler back then.
You didn't even know me back then.
That's
I had a big
true.
wart on the side of my chin. I had to get it surgically removed. Kidding.
You don't have any scar, so I know that's not true.
Fuck, I only got scars now that fucking Scott O'Neill gave me on the inside.
Okay.
Right, well, we agree to disagree. That's fine.
Are you done with the Open?
I'm done if you're done. Yeah.
I think so. I'm just looking at my last Open notes, and I don't think I have anything else there. So back to the real golf. That's what we're here for. Yeah.
JCB. Rocky Neiman, defending champion, Legion 13, two-time defending champion. This course, I don't know what you think of it. Aesthetically, it's probably one of the most pleasing to watch. I think there's a lot of great views. And the way the holes kind of like the way just they look, I think it meets the eye. But in terms of like an actual golf course, I fucking hate this course. I think it's so Mickey Mouse. I think there's so many blind shots. It's different than any other course we play. Not for me. And I think there's just a lot of weird tee shots with it. It is what it is. And obviously after the changes they made from 24 to 25 to make the course a lot easier, that didn't help either. But listen, it's a fun event, well attended. It's a party. So at least you have that going. And it's not like it's a completely dog shit course like a Stained City. But it's not in the top 5 of my courses. That's for sure.
The course looks awesome on TV. It's a course that if you and your buddies take a golf trip, you would like to play.
Yeah.
It's different. The knock that the PGA Tour gets all the time is that their courses are just so much all the same. It's different. That's what makes LIVs different, is that they play so many different styles and grasses and whatever. I'm not even sure, like, what do you call it? It's not a links course. It's like a hybrid course, right? It's like trying to be in the setting of a links course, but it doesn't play like a links course because it's super green and lush and whatever. But it's fun. I enjoy watching this tournament. I think there's enough quirks that make it like, okay, that's interesting or that's fun, but it's not, I would never put it on the schedule to be a like tournament before a major, because it's not that serious of a test where you want to play this and then go to the Open or something like that. So I guess I just respect what it is, and we don't have to think that it's the greatest course, because if every course was the top 5 course on LIV, then we would only have 5 events. So
that's true. Yeah, no, I mean, as long as our expectations are dampened by it, and mine are, it is what it is. I know what it is now. I'm fine with that. So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's been such a long layoff. I'm just excited to see everyone play again.
The course notes that we sometimes get before tournaments aren't up, but I looked over the map. I don't really see any major changes to the course. We did those changes from 24 to 25. I don't see anything as far as big yardage changes. It's going to play par 72. We're going to have guys shoot low scores. We know that. Winning score, I think if somebody gets to 20, they win. Waco was 18 last year with 3 rounds, but like the rest of the field was 13, 14, 11. So I think if somebody gets to 20, they probably win. Now, we'll wait and see what the forecast looks like, because it is still in the part of the world where the weather does change things.
Yeah. I'm looking at the map right now. I forgot this even existed. It's been a while since I podcasted. 14 was the party hole. It looks like there's still build outs around that.
We had the Majestic's Arms, right? Wasn't that
that was on 9.
Yeah, and I don't think it's called that anymore. I think is it the Majestic's Tea Party? I think this year.
Yeah, the Majestic's Tea Party, which is definitely a little gayer than it was before. 17 super downhill par 3. That hole's bizarre. It's an interesting
bizarre,
one.
but it's cool. It's something different in golf because you hit to that island green and then you stay on the island to tee off for 18. So that's kind of cool. It's such a hard par 3. We had I think it was 4 birdies over the 3 days last year.
Yeah. Well, I like the finishing stretch. Like it's a real challenge. Like 14 is not an easy par 3. 15 is a super tight par 4. 16 is a par 4 that you're laying up off of. 17 is the hard par 3. And 18, you can really get fucked by a good drive, depending on where it lands. There's like a middle section. It's a super uphill slope. You got trees if you really want to cut the corner, so that makes it tough. So there's a lot. It's a tough stretch, and there's definitely it's going to be difficult to be able to play consistently well throughout the final 5 holes. If someone's got a 1-shot lead heading into the end, it's going to be tough for them to keep it if they're not on their game. So, and last year, Bubba Watson, an insane stretch, 8 under and 6 holes. That was one of the cooler things we've seen. We haven't seen Bubba go off like that since. We may never see it again, but he played amazing during that stretch. Heading in this week, Louis Oosthuizen WD'd to a back injury, so he's out. Doyub Mun officially announced to be on the Koreans for the rest of the year.
Yep.
It's exciting. We are awaiting Paul Casey's status after missing the last 2 events. And since I was gone, Phil is now an alleged creep, so I don't think we'll see him for the rest of the year. Is there anything that I missed?
Not because of that necessarily, but
you never know. It could be because of that.
Yeah, I don't. We haven't no word yet on who's going to be playing for Louis. That could be a Trav Smythe.
Oh,
thing.
Trav Smythe. Oh, they wouldn't put an Australian on that team.
No, probably not. Although that'd be interesting. It would also require Paul Casey to be back. If Paul Casey's not back, I would assume that the Crushers would love to have Trav back.
Yeah. I wonder who would be that Stinger reserve? Because there's not a. I think John Catlin reserved from the once before. I mean, who knows?
John Catlin had the ace here. That's the most memorable shot at that 17th.
Yeah, so it'd be cool if he came back. Because we haven't seen him much at all this year. Looking at the reserves, I don't know who it would be. Maybe
there's
Ollie,
not like
boring.
there's not a natural fit for them.
Yeah, I don't know.
The other hole that stood out to me was the par 5 third. It's water.
Oh yeah,
on the right, and then that final round, they tuck that pin 1 or 2 paces off of the edge of the green, and there's 1 pace from the green into the water. So guys are trying to go at the green on the par 5, and Rahm had one that came in left of the green and rolled all the way across and just barely hung up in the fluff.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of that this week.
I like that hole. That's a risk reward. Do you go after that pin or not?
Yeah. That's a super blind tee shot. One is an automatic layup. 2, I don't know. I'm just looking at all the blind shots, 3 blind tee shot. 6 is a really hard hole. That's normally a par 5 for the members. But it's I believe it's a par. I think I have that right. But 6 played really tough in 24. Obviously, played really tough in 25. Interesting way that hole contorts. I want to say 10's blind, maybe 8. I don't know. And 12's that drivable par 4, where it's got the bank that kind of shapes down to the green.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of interesting holes in this course. What is the defense of this place? Do you think if it's wind? Does it need to be firm?
Well, it could be the weather because it's certainly not I think they can grow the rough out and make that but a big defense, but I don't know that the fairways are hard to hit. So I don't know if the fairways are so soft and green that you don't have a hard time holding fairways. So nobody really plays out of the fescue unless you absolutely stripe one
Yeah,
errant
well,
shot
and you
off the
can't make it
tee or-
that like the way the course is. You can't like firm it up too much because the layout's already a little too unfair, I think, as it is.
Yeah.
So like you got to keep it soft, or else the guys are just going to bitch about it, and they'll fold to that. So yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I don't know. I don't to think of a score. I have no idea what to expect with that.
Well, just looking back last year, the single lowest round was 7 under by Honorbahn. So that's, you mentioned, Herbert,
Really?
and Burns and Fox shooting 62s and that kind of being random. Like Honorbahn having the best round single score last year was kind of random because he finished T29. The year before, Neiman, second round, 8 under.
I was about to say. I'm
64.
surprised it wasn't
So,
Watko.
yeah. And then the year before, Rahm, first round, 8 under. So, I mean, yes, there can be some really low scores. If you're not on, like, there was a lot of guys that had 5 over rounds over the past couple years. Like, if you just don't have it, you can throw a 77 out there. There's going to be guys that shoot upper 70s, but
yeah, no, I mean the way the course is, yeah, it's definitely possible. But I mean the winners have been John Rahm and Joaquin Neiman. Those are two of the best players that have played in the league, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
What does that look like this week? I would probably assume it's a top echelon guy.
Yeah, I mean, take Neiman out of the picture last year, and then the guys behind him were not top echelon guys. You had Bubba, who went on the insane stretch of holes, and Caleb Surratt finished third. So,
Yeah.
you could definitely throw some random finishers high up on the leaderboard. Whether
Well, then
they can win or
the
not,
year before, top 5 was Rahm, Neiman, Cam Smith, Hatton, Paul Casey.
yeah.
So
Tringale T6, Matt Wolf T6. So
yeah,
Ogletree T6.
Yeah, I have an Ogletree point that I'm going to make in individuals, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just assuming like it takes a lot to kind of win at this course over a long stretch, so we'll see. I gotta say, what do you know about Chase and Status?
Chase and Status.
That's the DJ that's performing this week. Do you know anything
No.
about him?
No,
No,
nothing.
I don't know anything about him either. But it's cool that there's a concert this week. So I'm sure that'll be a fun time. The concert I was supposed to go to this weekend got canceled. So now I'm in a bad mood.
I probably haven't heard of them either. So,
you most certainly haven't. It's someone even less recognizable than Chase and Status that canceled on us. So sad times. Do you want to talk individuals?
let's go individuals since we were kind of getting there anyway.
Yep.
Talking about guys that had finished well there the past 2 years, both Neiman, a first and a second, Rahm, a first and a fifth, Cam Smith, a T2 and a 10th. Other than that, guys are kind of like one good year, one bad. Bryson T11 both years. That's interesting. Bias there has only played here once, has a T7.
And that was his coming out party. That was the first time he really played well on the league.
Yeah. And then you have a lot of guys, we mentioned like a T6 for Tringale or a T6 for Matt Wolf, but then that was 2024. And then those guys didn't play well here in 2025. Now, course changes, whatever, but still the same course. Hatton hasn't played this course specifically well. There isn't just anybody else that has like 2 really solid finishes here.
No, and also too, it's kind of tough to gauge how everyone's playing. We just haven't had an event in 7 weeks. So what does it look like for the field overall? Obviously, we've had guys play elsewhere, but those are different.
Those are different, but we assume that good form helps. And I think that's a huge assumption, but I think everyone in the golf world assumes that helps some. Certainly, I don't want to be playing my worst and then go into a 7-week absence, although it does give you time to maybe figure some things out.
Well, I mean, you could also play it in the way of like, what did it look like in the last 2 years before this? Like there were extended breaks mid season, like 5-week breaks, for the phony transfer window. What does it look like? What did it look like for those guys coming back from that? That's probably should have been some research I should have done, but maybe look into what guys, if guys were struggling beforehand, took a little break and then came back, or maybe vice versa. I don't know what that handicap would look like, but maybe that's could be something to watch for. But I mean, like I said, I think it's going to be overall, like I'm looking at the guys that are, that are playing well. I want to start with Bryson just because I think the overarching storyline, maybe outside of the golf, is he's not scheduled for media this week on the original plans. It's Majestics, it's Torquay, or no, it's Majestics, Legion, and Waco. Do I have that correct?
I believe so.
Yes, it is that. So
you've got your past winner, your past winning team, and your home team, which really makes sense. It's honestly what every event should be, unless you had a major winner coming off of a major win.
Yeah. So that's fine. I'm cool with that. But it'll be interesting because we haven't heard Bryson talk since the team winning press conference in Korea. So I wonder if we'll get him behind a mic this week, kind of talk through, kind of what his headspace is, right?
Well, I think there's one way to make that happen, and that's he needs to be leading after.
He needs to play well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
and it's not the less Bryson has talked lately, the more popular he's gotten. Him not talking this week at the Open was the best possible thing for Bryson, like for Bryson's brand. I
agree with that. But of course, obviously, he's one of the biggest lightning rods in the sport.
People want to hear what he has to say, right?
Yeah.
So anytime he said something to anyone, there's a video of it instantly because we're just hungry for what does Bryson want to say.
Yeah.
And literally of the players in golf today, he's number one of Bryson said something. Can we get that sound bite and get it? And then it's Rory 1-2, A, B, however you want to do that. And Rory keeps talking and digging his own grave, and Bryson just sits back and doesn't talk and watches Rory make a fool of himself. So,
yeah, no, I want to hear Bryson. It's fine if we don't have to, but obviously a lot of people want to hear him. So I'm really curious what his thoughts were on everything with that, because Clary hasn't spoke about that yet. I wonder if he'll have like a similar like US Open style video, going through the shots maybe, or going through the drop. That would be cool if he did have that, but we'll see.
Or does he do a one-on-one with a guy like our friend Tom from Flushing It? Because we have gotten some Bryson stuff through that.
I'm assuming he'll be there this week, right? Have you talked to him?
I have not. I don't know if he's heading out to that or not. I would assume so.
I would assume so too, but we'll see. He's a busy guy. But now that soccer's over, he's got plenty of time to watch golf.
Free time like none other.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so we agree like big names are going to be high up. Lucas Herbert is a guy that I have an eye on. Like, he hasn't played that well here, like T20 and T34. But Lucas Herbert's playing as good a golf as Lucas Herbert has played since coming to LIV.
Yes.
Picking up a win in Virginia, obviously with how he performed at the Open. Why can't Lucas Herbert play really well here, I would say? Some other guys like Thomas Dietrich has never, obviously first season on LIV, has never, to my knowledge, played this course competitively.
No idea. Probably
there's
not.
some guys that you're like, okay, we haven't seen him. Obviously, Sebastian Munoz played 2 weeks ago. The entire Torquay team played that DP World Tour event.
The Italian Open?
Yeah. I could see him. I could see like Charles Howell, Brandon Grace, just guys that like trusty veterans. I could see playing really well here. Who else besides the big names, the top, 6, 7, 8 in the standings? Who else do you think oh, this could be a fit for them, or maybe this is where they kind of break out? Or
I kind of like looking at it, outside of like that top 7. I'm looking at it, like, I feel like the way this year has transpired, like the guys that have been playing consistently well are going to nab one. And I feel like the guy looking at that next bottom tier, Taylor Gooch, he's played well here before. He was, where was he? He was 4th here last year. So he has good history at this course. How does that translate? Not sure. But I think he's going to be a guy, like, he's been playing well enough throughout the season. Obviously lost in the playoff in Korea. I just feel like that, like Lucas Herbert has played well all year. He won in Virginia. I mean, he's continued to play well. I'm looking at guys that have just played well and just are close. That's who I'm kind of targeting this week. I don't know what his number is, but I'd like that. That'd be something I'd be interested in.
I totally whiffed on Gooch because T4 last year, T6 in 2024. So he should have been in my notes as guys that have played this course really well both times.
Yeah, so that's something to watch out for. I will say, talking about Hatton real quick, obviously having a bad week last week, but winning at Valderrama, came close to winning here before. Obviously he's already clipped one, but he's in that similar ilk of like he's having a good year. I'm sure he'll continue to play well. John Rahm back to easy live fields, so he's probably going to play well, obviously. But in all seriousness, obviously he's played really well here before, and I'm sure he's going to win again probably before the year's up, just with the last stretch of courses. So we'll see about that. And then Waco last year, I don't know how much we talked, but just the way he tore this place apart last year, it's hard for me to not be like, oh yeah, he's gonna have a dud this week. He was
Right.
like, it was a machine last year playing golf, not a human. The way Waco played.
There's another guy I have to mention, and he's not going to get mentioned if we're just talking about performers here in the past. Dustin Johnson finished dead last, solo dead last year. Dustin Johnson could be a factor here.
Okay.
He's playing well enough. I'm not sure on the decision not to try and qualify for the Open, but I feel like in the end, how the Open turned out with Birkdale, how we talked about, Dustin Johnson should have tried to come here and play because I think that course I think he would have been just fine playing the Open.
Totally, I agree.
And
Wait, lift up your mask. Is that Garrett Johnston? But yeah, no, I wish DJ would have tried, but yeah, totally.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember the circumstances last year. Like, why did he play so bad here?
Because he was like, he couldn't putt to save his life, and he probably drove it like so far out of bounds. And this course is pretty gay by nature. So like, and he's 74, 73, 75. He had an 8 on hole 3. He doubled on 11. He tripled on 8. Double, or he just had like bad scores all around.
Yeah,
like and it was every day. Like those were all different days. So like,
right.
A bad score took him out of it, but like he had more bogeys than birdies.
Yeah.
So clearly, so yeah, he didn't play good at all.
Anybody else individually that deserves a mention?
Sam Horsfield's home course. I will say, we don't have much time to talk about Sam Horsfield. I mean, like whether the league survives or not, he's gone. He's fucking out of here. So we don't have much time to talk about him. Home course. I picked him to win in 2024. What an idiot I was. I expect him to fire out a T42 this week. He's looking a little beefier, as beefy as ever. So clearly he hasn't played any golf. He went to some event with his girlfriend. I don't know, dude. He sucks. So expect a bad week from Sam Horsfield because he's not a good golfer. And then Andy Ogletree, leader in the clubhouse, or leader after 36 in 2024, had a decent 2025. Obviously, he's out of the league, and obviously he wasn't a good player. I'm thinking, who is not going to be in the league and who's a bad player on the high flyers right now? And that's Michael Lasasso. Michael Lasasso is going to have a week this week where this course is not, I don't know how it tailors to his game. Probably doesn't. But I could see a world where Michael Lasasso fires out like a 4-under in the first round, and he's there. He's in that. He's starting on like hole 2. So I give me Michael Lasasso, and if he can compile a couple good rounds together, he might just go out and play and be in contention on Sunday.
You mentioned players that aren't going to be on the league next year that I could see just like, where did that come from? Danny Lee has finished 50th both times at this course, T50 and solo 50. I could see Danny Lee being like a first round leader here. Like, he's no longer attached to a team. He's playing as a wild card. Like, just, I don't know, freed up, unburdened by what has been. Like, Danny Lee's going to come out and just fire and be like 7 under after day 1 and then finish 4 over.
Looking at the odds checker website, Lasasso's 450 to 1. Danny Lee is 500 to 1. Horsfield is 1,000 to 1. You just put $1 on all those guys, you're going to be fucking rich when one of them hits. But at the same time, obviously none of them are going to win. But
I mean, there's just so many other guys that like could Sergio win here? Could David Puig get his first win here? Could
I
Tom McKibben get his first win here?
I just
in the end, I don't know, because you have to outlast Rahm and Bryson and Neiman, and like you have to outlast those guys for 4 rounds on a course that is going to have some 64s and 65s out there, and it's hard to see. David Puig could have one of those days, but can he do that over 4 days? I don't think this is the place for that.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it so tough. Like if you're a young player to really cut your teeth out here, because like you're playing against those top guys, and like not all of them are going to have bad weeks when you have a good week.
Well, and it's why young guys end up with wins on the PGA Tour and not on LIV, because the top guys play every week on LIV Golf.
Yeah,
you never have a second tier event or a off, not the main event of the week, whatever the PGA wants to call it going forward. Like these guys, like they don't have a chance to win those here because everybody plays every event. And I think that's a really understated part of LIV.
And that, like when the tour goes to that
Challenger,
challengers, it's just going to be the same thing on there. So like
they're going to herald guys that are winning challenger events, and then they're going to be non-factors when it comes to majors or full field. Like if they get promoted to the spot where somebody was relegated.
Yeah, the relegation. God, I mean, next year when I have to watch the tour when LIV doesn't exist, that's going to be a tough one to swallow. But I mean, at the same time, you said I'm a new person. I've been thinking, like, do you think cuts would be a good idea?
Well, I'm
totally kidding, by the way.
No, the idea somebody actually just said that to me within the last week. Like, LIV Golf should have gone cuts back in the day, and things would have that doesn't work with the team component. Like,
dude,
to have two tournaments going on simultaneously, you can't cut guys from a team. What if one team has 4 guys make it and one team has 3 out of 4 cut? Like, it doesn't work.
If we just stick to 2024 and tidy up those loose ends, this league's still going, no problem.
It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And you'll push back. Other people will push back. It doesn't matter who the CEO is. If you had stayed with 2024 and you had trimmed 2025 even, and you had trimmed a lot of the bloat and the spending, LIV Golf could have gone on just beautifully forever.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, I think you need somebody competent in that role, but I agree with the sentiment overall. But who knows?
Anyway, that's what I got on individuals.
I'm cool with that too. Teams.
I mean, it's so clear. There's only one team that has a chance to win here. They win.
Really?
They win every event here. They're the best team in golf
here.
Their players are all coming in having just played.
You're wearing your OKGC shirt.
They're just played a few hours down the road. All 4 of their guys.
Yeah, they're all warm.
Yep. So, and it's not like they had to fly in from halfway around the globe after 7 weeks off. So,
they're comparing it to the Crushers. Bryson's already there. Paul Casey's from England. Anirban lives in Dubai. That's not an easy flight, but it's fine. And then Charles Howell, he'll have to travel across the world for that one, but that's okay. Honestly, the team's preview, Eamon Lynch said, Michigan, the LIV loyalists say that Michigan's not going to happen. Who knows?
I want to know what a LIV loyalist is, because to me, that's me.
A LIV loyalist
that's
is
somebody
me,
that's followed
like 2 months ago.
Right. That's like somebody that's followed LIV Golf from the start and been a big fan. And they were just like, I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. And he wrote an article about it.
Yeah. Loyalist is a bad
loyalist word was not being used like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks ago when like, hey, LIV might not have events. Like, we weren't calling them LIV loyalists. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I mean, bad choice of words, but who knows? But in saying that, let's in a worst case scenario, the team championship doesn't happen, and we haven't seen any build outs for the Cardinal yet. But when I do see it, then I'll stop believing it. But we need to figure out who gets to 11 first, Crushers or Legion. One of these two teams are going to win one more time.
Well,
And I
maybe
think
they
at
both
the end
win
of
one more.
and then the team championship will determine who the best team in golf ever is.
Well, no, Indianapolis will determine that.
Well, if they only win one more time in the next 3 events each.
Well, I'm saying Legion's winning here. The Crushers are winning in New York. And Indianapolis will decide who the best team ever is.
Yeah, but what happens when the Range Goats win that? So listen,
that'll be the one event that Torquay wins because Sebastian Munoz will shoot a 58 again.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a storyline to watch. Who the greatest team in LIV Golf history is. But even though neither of them are winning the standings right now, that is the 4 aces. And Dietrich is the only one that's had competitive reps, I think, since the U.S. Open. Is that correct? Did Peters play at all? He didn't play in Belgium.
No, he didn't play at his home event. So
it'll be interesting to see what they look like. I know AK has been posting videos about him practicing. He's had a good time off, good vacation. So it'll be interesting to see where the 4 aces are. Hopefully, if they can keep their lead.
Rippers had 3 out of their 4 play some. Leishman has not played during the break. I'm just going down the standings here.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Crushers. All of Torquay played. We mentioned that.
Well, Crushers haven't played. Oh, Bryson.
Right, but you mentioned Paul Casey's from there, Honor Bond Dubai. Fireballs have had everybody play. Yeah. Because Massaveo's been playing a couple times on the Hotel Planner Tour. Southern Guards, Louis hurt. Dean hasn't played. Brandon Grace did play one DP event.
And Schwartzel hasn't played.
No. Gooch obviously doesn't play at all. Kokrak, Graham McDowell.
Yes. No? He tried open qualifying, but
oh yeah, that's right. I mean, that's one day.
He played the US Open.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So he has played. And then Varner hasn't.
High Flyers. Cleeks actually have had guys playing. Moronk and Victor played DP World.
Yeah, Victor Perez. Yeah. Well, we already talked about him.
Yep. Range Goats have Uline playing. No Ben Campbell. No Bubba.
No Wolf.
KGC has gotten more reps in with a couple of their guys than anybody else. They've been playing tournaments, Korea Golf and Japan Golf Tour tournaments like crazy. Ben On played a DP World Tour event, so they're coming in not rusty. Majestics, Ian Poulter played the U.S. Senior Open.
Yep.
Ian Poulter, sneaky top 10 finish this week.
Wow, interesting. That's definitely sneaky.
So, from the team's perspective, outside of just Legion having the blueprint to win and all their guys being warm and Caleb Surratt having a chance to win here, other than Joaquin raining on his parade last year, other teams that I put Crushers, like Paul Casey, T11 and 5th here. Charles Howell was a guy that I said I think sneaky could be good. Obviously, Honor Bond had the second best score. Like all of those guys put together, if Paul Casey plays, make for a really nice 1 through 4. Fireballs, I think, kind of go as Sergio goes this week because I'm just not sure what Sergio we're going to get. I think Ballester is going to do well here. I think David Pooch is going to do well here. We know what we get from Masaveo. Sergio, we don't know if we're getting a T5 or a T25.
Well, I mean, I look back last year. Obviously, you're right. We don't. But I think like if Pooch or Ballester or and Garcia, 2 of those 3, if they get in the top 10, I think they'll contend. And I feel like they're kind of due.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like Pooch and Ballester have really been cutting their teeth lately. Like they got to take another step.
Yeah.
I know we say that all the time.
Now,
but like they're playing the reps
on LIV.
necessary to do that.
Ballester took a step, I would say, at the Open this week. Like Ballester took a step forward. Now, that's a really young career and making a cut in a major, but he didn't just make the cut. He had a really nice 3rd round. Like that's a step.
Yeah.
So now does he come back to his home tour, his home league, and does that pay dividends for him? We'll see. Sergio T20, T21 here. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I wonder what his his weeks off have been like.
Now, he did play some. Tried to
Where?
play the on the DP World Tour, right?
What did he play? Yeah, you're right. He did play.
And then he tried the qualifier for the Open. So it's not like he's cold.
Well, he's been putting a lot of attention toward that YouTube channel.
Yeah, he played the BMW International.
That's right. Okay.
Missed the cut. So he hasn't played that many competitive rounds. Torquay, I think, is a team. We keep saying Torquay, and I keep saying I'm not going to talk about them until they podium. But you just look at their lineup, and you're like, how can that team not win an event? So,
yeah, well, I mean, last year Waco was broken in Portrush, and then came out and won after changing everything. So after just a similarly bad week, I'm sure I'll have a good week this week.
Yeah, well, they unhitched Mito Pereira, and Abe Ansler here, I think, plays this course decent. So could it be Torquay's week? Maybe. And then Ripper, I said, like, all three of those guys, I think Lucas Herbert's playing well. Cam, there's parts of his game we thought are coming along, and then what are we doing with the putter? Then the other teams are like, to me, they are just what they are. And the one team I have no love for is the home team. Like, I don't care if it's your home event. The Majestics have just a lack of firepower to be able to put them in a conversation to do anything.
Yeah, there's no point even talking about them. We already talked about Horsfield and Poulter. No need to give love for the other two.
Now, if Poulter goes top 10, like I think, and Lee Westwood does something crazy, then it takes Sam Horsfield not finishing 52nd. Like,
if they win this week, I will take a pair of scissors and cut off my pinky live on podcast.
I thought you were going to say you'd come back to being a LIV loyalist.
No. Well, we don't even know what that means. That can mean anything.
All right. Are you ready to talk about who wins?
Yeah, I'm ready. Not really excited about it because team-wise, I think Legion 13 is going to win this week. Go for the three-peat at the site. I think they'd be the first team to do that. Just because they've all got reps. They're all playing. Well, I'm not going to say they're all playing well because it's not like they had a good week in Birkdale, but at least they have the reps and they're fresh. And I think they obviously have good course history here. So I'm picking Legion for the teams. And then individually, I'm going with Taylor Gooch. I mentioned earlier, I'm looking for guys that have played well and haven't clipped one yet. He's one of those guys. I'd love to see him win. I'm rooting for that. I picked him in Valderrama. Didn't happen. I'm picking him here. This will be the last time I pick him if he doesn't get it done. So I'm taking Gooch this week.
All right. Legion, I think, to me, just the best four guys to come out and play this course. There's not going to be that guy that finishes 47th or something like that prevents them from winning. And then you're going to fall off your chair with my winner because I think Bryson DeChambeau wins this week.
Oh,
I think he played his last 5 rounds here. Granted, that's, 5 of his last 6, the only 6 rounds he's played here under par. I think just all of the happenings of this week and the laser focused mentality that he's going to show up here, doesn't have to do that first round media stuff. Like, maybe he talks to Tom, maybe not. Like, he's showing up here and he's like, well, that's in the past. I have a chance to go get 24 OWGR points this week, and I'm going to go do it. And I think the club combo,
that's what he's looking at. Yeah.
I think the club combo that he has now with the steel shafts and his irons, and I think he's really close to like saying, and he's never going to quit tinkering, but he went back to the crank. Now he's got the steel shaft irons. I think like he's starting to say like, I'm really close to having the club combo that I want. And Bryson will always say like, it depends on my equipment, right? The word equipment is like the second most popular word he ever says after YouTube. But I think he feels like his equipment is where it needs to be, and that's going to pay off for him this week.
I'd be a little higher on Bryson if I felt like I got a little bit more out of the driver last week. I'm just not sure where it is quite yet. Because I thought the irons, I thought his approach overall was fine. And the way this golf course will play, he won't miss as many fairways because, the balls won't run out. But I could see a world where he gets impacted by a really wayward drive and hits it into like really big stuff and has to trample his way through there. And then Brad Ullman sees that's like, oh yeah, we got to ding him up for this one. So that's my guess. But in all seriousness, I need a little more consistency out of the driver. And I don't know if we'll get it this week, but I'm hopeful, obviously.
All right. The last thing that we do is our hit or miss game. And to quickly update, because it's been so long, Grok picks a number for us. We try and predict the player that finishes in that place. You are 115 is your score. So that means you've been off a total of 115 spots through the Spain event. And I'm at 93. So currently leading by 22. So you have three individual events here to make up 22 spots. So you really can't afford to go backwards here.
No, and it's tough for me too, because we haven't played in so long. So if we get a middle number, if I lose this week, I think it's over. But overall, the majority of the golf I've been watching is the PGA Tour lately. I haven't watched many DP World Tour events. Obviously, the Asian Tour hasn't really played at all. So I'm not fully in tune with how all these guys are going to be playing here. So this is a big week for both of us. But Grok is getting a number right now, and the number is 56.
56.
Wow.
Oh man. If you hadn't already said Sam Horsfield was going to finish 42nd.
Oh my God. I can't take him.
Oh.
Fuck. Oh man. All right. Well, this is interesting.
The door is wide open for you to make up 22 spots right now.
It's tough because it is wide open, but at the same time, it's there's only a certain amount of guys that we're picking for a top 10 finish. And I feel like there's that certain amount of guys that are picking for a bottom finish too. And there's a lot more room to go up than there is to go down if you're one of those top guys. So I got to think about this extra careful.
Oh, man, I don't like that. I got to go back to last year.
I gotta take a look at something, but I think I know who I'm gonna pick.
It's crazy the memories when you go even just 1 year ago, how many players all year long we waited for Euban Jang to score points, and this is the event he finished in the top 24. Rest in peace, Euban.
All right, I got my pick.
If you want to share first, I'll have mine ready by the time you.
All right, yeah. Well, I'm going with Bjorn Hellgren.
Okay.
He's been playing terrible. 4 of his last 5 events have been 54 or lower. It's just math. I have to take that. I can see I like Bjorn Hellgren, and I hope he does play well, but not this week.
Yeah. It's a good pick. I'm going Min Kyu Kim.
Wow, interesting. Okay. I like that.
Now that Doyob Moon is a permanent fixture on that team, Min Kyu Kim has to live in Doyob's shadow. So I think he just shrinks away.
Well, Doyob's
that then he's 55th in the season standings.
He's 55th. I think these are good picks. Have you looked at the Korean Golf Club merch? They just added a new polo on here.
Not recently.
They have a brand deal. I don't know if you saw that.
I may have.
It's on the Korean site, and it costs 10 million Korean dollars, whatever that currency.
Oh, they don't even have it for US dollars?
Well, it's on the Korean site, but the Korean Golf Club polo is out of stock. Do you think Siwoo Kim going down the final stretch today was thinking that he should have been the captain of the Korean Golf Club?
Potentially.
If he was the captain of the Korean Golf Club, would he have won today? So people are asking. No? Okay. No. Interesting.
So you're saying it's on the Korean, whatever the brand is, it's on that site?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the brand's called, but I've seen their site and they have different stuff.
Is it that one that has 4 stripes? It's like the Adidas 3-stripe life, except it's the 4-stripe.
Yeah. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
I've looked at it. I've been on the site and played around with it. God, now I can't think of it.
You got to make a pick.
I did. Minkyu Kim.
Fuck yeah. Sorry. It's been a while since we've done this podcasting shit. Maybe I don't remember. Ooh, Live Golf's to return to Korea in 2027. We should join the wait list. All right, listen. I think we both have solid picks. I like my pick a lot, but I also like your pick.
I mean, we're gonna. It could come down to a shot late in the day.
I need Minkyu Kim to just have a good week. Like finish top 30, Minkyu. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
And then happens,
Bjorn Helgren will finish 37th, and you'll gain a little bit, but
yeah, I don't know. Well, like Bedminster's going to be tough because if that number is high, you know, I don't know. I mean, like Bedminster and Indianapolis, I feel like are going to be a little tougher to gauge than JCB.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so I don't know how that'll look, but I mean, yeah, at the end of the year, someone's got to buy merch. So hopefully it's not me, but we'll see. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. It's fun. It's the thought of going into a week with a full live golf tournament again. It's been a while, and it's
been a while. Refreshing,
and it'll be fun to digest the pressers and all that stuff that goes with it. And like John Rahm said, Live Golf Week's the lead up to it is actually really fun, and he enjoys it. So that's I can echo that.
Where do you say that?
He was asked in the presser. Was it before this week? There was a lady that was trying to challenge. It was all over Twitter. This lady said like something about how do you go from like, you know, that to like normal tournaments, and how does the prep week? And he's like, well, that's actually really good. Like they really do a really good job of like practice rounds and our schedule and like structuring all the lead up. Like she was trying to like put live golf down, and it was clear that she didn't know anything about how their tournaments went. So
yeah, that's funny. I didn't see that.
I'll send it to you when I find it. So, all right, we're way into this. It was good.
It's been a while. Lots of chatter. We needed a lot of chatter.
Yeah.
This is good, but I'll be streaming this week, and maybe we'll see. I do plan streaming the weekend. I don't know what my Thursday, definitely not. Friday, maybe. We'll see. I'll work stuff, real life stuff.
All right. Go Minkyu Kim. Get really bad.
Yeah. Go Bjorn Helgren.
Right.